pit.
Hello everybody, welcome back. So we're going to have a think about, look at altcoins, market cap for overall altcoin positions, and when to press the button, whether you're rotating out of a Bitcoin position or actually just putting in some fresh cash for what could be, I'll hesitate to call it an alt season, but some serious altcoin gains from the small cap alts, really, small to medium caps. In my opinion, we're going to do some really savage moves. Now, this, isn't going to be the alt season that that people have become so accustomed to. People into crypto are used to these sort of things from January onwards. That is pretty rare. In fact, that's been the biggest alt season I've ever experienced, other than this sort of thing, which again, that wasn't particularly an alt season. I suppose that was the birth of altcoins, really. So yeah, I did participate in that just by pure accident. I had a load of XRP bought around 3 cents and managed to get out, in about 260 or something like that on the way down. So yeah, but I wouldn't call that an alt season. This is an alt season, and this was an amazing alt season. And it's basically what we look at is the Bitcoin dominance going up to a certain particular area on the chart, usually a very strong area of resistance, and then taking the plunge, whether you're going into altcoins from cash, tether, or rotating out of Bitcoin. So what we're looking at now is basically the opposite. We have been talking about this for a while, especially all the way down. Every time we came down to a major level of support, I was saying it on the streams here. I was saying, look, let's just be careful. Let's be careful. Let's not underestimate Bitcoin dominance chart here. And then obviously it broke down. I said, okay, party continues. Let's come down to here. Okay, let's just be careful. This is a weekly chart, by the way. Let's be careful. Let's not underestimate. Okay, let's get back on. The party's continuing. Okay, let's be careful. Let's be careful. That sounded like a broken record, but the idea is, the lower the Bitcoin dominance chart goes, the more at risk you are in an altcoin position. Now, it all depends on your entry point, obviously. Our entry points were largely over here, which basically, it keeps us reasonably safe to a large extent. Picking up some of these altcoins at such low prices that even today, they're up 10x or more. Some of them even still at this point now over 100x, so it's all relevant to your entry point. But as we came down lower and lower and lower, especially down to this zone, and this zone is just no accident, all right? This zone is historical lows. We did come down lower than this in the past, and we did speak about this, and we've spoken about it in the past, that it can go lower. There's no reason why it won't. But if we're thinking about the way that the Bitcoin dominance chart works, we don't need indicators or anything like that. Really, it's just a matter of support and resistance, and take your best. Take your pick, you scale in, scale out, and do however you want, but the lower you go, the more at risk you are. So at the moment, we are back down at these particular levels, so this is a historical low, and this, again, bounce here, up to the top, bounce here, up to the top, bounce here. So we would be expecting back up to the top again. Now, if we were to turn all the indicators on this one, it makes it look like a bullish chart. We've reclaimed all major moving averages of the smaller term time frames. We've only got the 50 and the 200, which is all the way up here, pointing into this major area of resistance. So I'm not suggesting that that's where we're definitely going to go, but in a perfect world, we would go up there, right? And this is why I'm saying, Bitcoin is always my trading strategy. Buying Bitcoin, switching into altcoins, and then back into Bitcoin. So for me, I welcome a move all the way up here, but it would be silly of me to not expect rejections on what appears to be particular levels of interest. Serious levels of interest. So we've got this one here, which is basically at 47.5% dominance. So the reason I'm rattling on about this dominance chart once again is because good things come to those who wait, right? And you've got to have a plan and a strategy, especially in times like this when things are boring and we look at the charts every day and we go, oh, we're up, oh, we're down, oh, we're up, oh, we're down. And unless you're sitting around at your computer every day clicking buttons furiously, doing futures trading or little scalps here and there, I mean, for me, it's a matter of buying and selling and in major zones. So to repeat, sold a large portion over here in the 50s, lower 50s, bought back at 40,600, bought back at 35,000. These are the only trades I've made on Bitcoin since in this year. One sell, two buys. That's all it's been. So obviously I make videos every day on YouTube, and sometimes I do make altcoin trades, but again, far and few between. The best thing with altcoins and with Bitcoin is, big trades, whether that's a big sell, big buys, and incrementally selling. So normally I wouldn't sell on the way down, but this one was an obvious. Well, I say obvious. There was a very serious and significant risk of us breaking down here. Not particularly so much on the chart. It was to do with things outside the chart, effectively being the Megatron virus, which was new at the time. It was going to cause shock in the market, and it did. So it got out of a lot of stock positions, got out of a lot of, a good portion, not a lot, but a good portion of my Bitcoin, which is something I don't normally want to sell, you see. And the idea is to keep stacking it, but I sold a decent portion over here and bought back. So that's it. I mean, 3 trades in 3 months, 1 sell, 2 buys. That by most people's standards might sound crazy. Hang on a minute, this is how you do your living and stuff. Well, it is, yeah. It's how the vast majority of my cash comes through to me through trading. That's how that's my income. And yeah, sometimes over trading is the worst thing you can do. And at the moment, I've done my sell, I've done my 2 buys. And to be honest with you, day after day after day, it just becomes more and more boring. However, throughout all of this, there is a plan emerging, right? And it involves not really just Bitcoin, because like I say, I've done 2 buys. That's my zone bought out. I've bought this zone out. So the Bitcoin that I sold, I've bought back at lower prices. That's a win. The main thing that we want to do is trade some altcoins. We're desperate for it. We want to take that risk, but the risk isn't appropriate when it's risk is good when the reward is good, but no, risk is not that good when you're basically putting yourself at risk just for no reason. And it can, trading should really just be kind of just, it can be pretty calm and chilled out, so long as you're okay to wait. Some people don't have that kind of patience, and something you really need to grasp is you do need to have the patience. Recognize that trades, you can't just force a trade, and it is like going fishing. You can't rush a fish to the fish hook. You have to wait for it to bite. You can't just throw the hook in and reel in a fish. It just doesn't work like that. You just got to wait, and that's what you're going to have to do here. But if we want to catch a big fish, then we've got to have a plan, and we've got to be prepared to wait. The big fish is going to be presented to us on this dominance chart, and there's also a chance that it could also be presented on the total market cap 3 and 2, so including and excluding both Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? There's a total market cap 3. Now, the 2 and 3, they basically both look exactly the same, which is that on the monthly, they're curling over, they want to go down, which basically means that we're looking for further downside for altcoins. Not an enormous amount. Again, this is a market cap, so we got the 21 exponential on the monthly, 15% lower than where we are right now, and the center of the Bollinger Band coming in around just over 20%. That's on the total market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. We have a look at it over here, so this is your total market cap 2 excluding only Bitcoin. 13% further to drop to the 21 exponential, and just short of 20% to the center of that Bollinger Band, again on the monthly, right? So we would be looking for one of these two to be pretty well respected and cause a decent bounce. Have a look at some of these bounces that we've had in the past. Massive big rally up. This is your May crash all the way down, and then the following month we pinged the 10 exponential. So that's a good sign in a bullish move. We continued up, and altcoin, including Ethereum market cap, went up just short of 200%. Quite a lot. Now we're below the 200, the 10 exponential this time. The next major significant moving average on a monthly is going to be these zones here, and so we will be looking for a bounce. Simple, just a bounce. This is why I'm hesitant to call it an alt season. Some of these bounces can be pretty big. That was a 42% move in the market cap just on this bounce alone. Right? This is a spinning top. This means it could go either up or down. It's clearly looking like it wants to go down. It may not. Like I say, you can't rush a trade, and a trade of this significance, which is going to involve, in my opinion, the best place to make these sort of trades is going to be into smaller cap altcoins. So things on KuCoin, maybe even things on OKEx and Ascendex, all these smaller, maybe not Probit, let's not go crazy, but some of these ones that offer small cap gems, Gate.io, KuCoin, Ascendex, OKEx, these ones. This is where you could put in smaller amounts that, obviously higher risk, but could end up doing the multiple 100% type style moves, just based on this market cap bouncing from a significant area. Now, over the next few weeks, as we wait for this to play out, I'm going to add some charts to the channel of some things that we don't normally look at, because we are looking at exploiting effectively a bounce of market cap, and not maybe an alt season, but basically getting involved, with smaller amounts of money, maybe a few $100 trades on small cap, really small cap type coins that are offering significant moves. But again, you are exposing yourself to more risk, and there's going to be a potential liquidity issue at the beginning, so you can't really go putting in tons of money into these sort of things. But it's worth having those exchanges set up anyway with a few $100 in there, for these opportunities, because we used to do something called Shitcoin Weekly on this channel, where we would look at really like the worst things on Probit. So this is a little step up from that. So they're still shitcoins, I suppose, but we'll just call them small cap coins. So Small Cap Weekly will do, or something along those lines, and we'll look at things that normally would escape the vast majority of people, and offer some serious gains for some small investments, And again, when we aren't looking for an alt season, the Bitcoin dominance chart doesn't look like it's really ready for an alt season. Now, you could argue if we come up to the top here and you move all the way back down to the bottom again, that would, in many people's eyes, create an alt season, because it would go on for a reasonable amount of time. Let's have a look at the last time that we moved up to the top. How long did it take? We're looking at a weekly chart here, so all the way down to the bottom, a 17% retrace over an 84-day period. So that's actually pretty good for altcoins. That is effectively an alt season. May not have felt like it, because most people, like I say, are accustomed to this. Alts just mooning constantly. Everybody a genius. Everybody makes successful trades. Doesn't matter what you pick. But you have to be a little bit more. Clever's not the right word, but you got to be a bit more opportunist and have a bit more attention to detail to try and play a range on the Bitcoin dominance chart. So I'm not saying that we won't get an alt season here. We can. And one thing is that we've learned recently, or over the last 18 months, is don't underestimate altcoins, because the retailers like them, and that's where people want to put their money. And people are less likely to go for Bitcoin, as the institutions have pushed it up to an extent where it's basically out of most people's price range to accumulate a whole Bitcoin. So I don't really feel particularly interested in having one anymore. And I think that's why people want to get loads and loads of really small cap coins, where they can get hundreds of thousands, millions even of these tokens, and it gives them, I suppose, I can understand. You look at your balance and go, wow, what if these reached $1? I could get it. I understand that where people come from. It's where we all, yes, that's how we all felt. That's what I was like when I bought all the XRP back in 2016 and 17. I was like, wow, what if these reached $1? That'd be great. And obviously it did. I did the same thing with Matic. I was buying this thinking, I'm pretty sure it will go to $1. Wouldn't that be great? And I was looking at my balance and going, wouldn't this be good if it reached $1? And it did. But there's a lot of talk of everything reaching $1. Do you know what I mean? And it's that hopium that you sell yourself, because you look at your balance and you go, wouldn't that be good if that was dollars? And I'm not saying that they won't be one day, but like I say, I think most people are priced out of Bitcoin, and this is why we shouldn't underestimate altcoins in general, because the retailers step in and buy altcoins. And I think that's largely the psychological aspect as to why it's so alluring. Not only the big moves that they can do, but just the expectation that their balance of a million, I don't know, holochains will one day become $1. Right. So we've set ourselves a little plan, and again, a plan has to be, we can't just rush to plan. So I was saying yesterday, I said we're getting a nice move today, but I am certainly not going to be buying any altcoins now, because the plan that I alluded to yesterday, and I'm pretty sure I must have talked about it in the past, we certainly talk about it a lot on the live stream, it is not in fruition. It's not in full swing. There is a plan that I'm wanting to stick to be able to do some epic trades. First one will be this range that we've got, and if we get to this level, I will take on some risk in the hope that we do have a rejection from here that maybe even takes it all the way to the bottom. But my personal general view on this is that even though we might get a rejection from here, we will end up breaking out of it and moving up into the 50% range. This area here, the 52% zone, is a particular area of interest. You know, we supported around here, we supported around here, and since then we sliced right down it. We've not revisited it in a long time, so I would be looking for that to be a major area of resistance. And if that breaks, this would be the main one. I find it kind of unrealistic now at this stage, given what I've said about altcoins and retailers and the general view on altcoins in general. You know, even with large institutions picking up things like Ethereum, to imagine that Bitcoin dominance will break above 58% again. You know, I don't think it'll happen, but it could. It's a long way off, so we can't really talk that far in the future, but this would be a major alt season event if we came up to this level, and I would welcome it massively, which is why I always say, you know, keep Tether available. I trade Bitcoin mostly, so you know, altcoins back into Bitcoin and Bitcoin back into altcoins, and so whatever the price of Bitcoin is at the time, if we do approach this level, it's just a matter of taking some of that Bitcoin and putting it into what altcoins look good at the time, because this would spark an alt season almost certainly, and a pretty aggressive one, I would imagine, as well. But right now we're not at any of these levels of resistance, and we're also not at any of these levels of support. We're moving there. Like I say, it's not far away. You know, some of these altcoins may only have, you know, between 15 and 30% lower to go with their, you know, with their tether value before the market cap reaches this level. Now, no altcoin is created equal, so they will all reach different levels at different points. We're looking at trading a market cap here of, you know, the entire of crypto, excluding Bitcoin, and in this instance, and total 3, excluding Ethereum as well. So we're looking at trading the chart of the market cap for a bounce. So basically anticipating when, you know, large amounts of money will go into altcoins based on this. So it's a blanket trade. So we have a lot of different coins that we're going to stack up over this period, you know, keeping the corner of our eye, small cap ones especially. On some of these, you know, smaller exchanges like OKEx and Ascendex and KuCoin and Gate.io. And obviously there'll be small caps on Binance and things, but some of these smaller exchanges will offer some even really big moves, and it's all to do with order books and like I say, you know, it's because they're small cap, isn't it? So that when the money comes in, they do pretty well, you know. So there's opportunity in the smaller cap coins based around this particular strategy. But it is a general altcoin rule is that we should be looking for a bounce around these levels on the market cap and a rejection around here on the dominance chart. But right now we're not there. But if you want to take, you know, advantage of this kind of way of trading, this kind of blanket view of trading altcoins, I suggest you start to do your homework now while you have the time, so you're not caught out when the mooning starts to take place. Because that's the worst. If you haven't thought about what it is that you want to do, what it is that you want to buy, have a list of the things that you want to pick up, and then the day that it starts to reject, you're scratching around, looking, oh my god, what shall I buy? You know, you're on Twitter, you're on Telegram, what's everyone buying? Whereas really what you should be doing is buying it when it hits these levels, before they start to moon. And you can't, you know, in order to do that, you need to know what it is you're going to do. So this is the plan. This is going to give us the rough time of when this bounce is going to take place across the board, and it's up to you to work out what coins it is that you want to buy to hopefully, you know, take part in what could be a definitely what I would consider a significant alt rally, and some people might interpret it as an alt season. Right, I'm going to leave it with you there. Like I say, less to do with Bitcoin today. It's still very much the same, so there's no point in going into too much detail about it. You know, anywhere as high as 45,800 to as low as potentially 30,000. That is the range. That is it. We're slow, we're steady, we're all over the place. There's only one thing we can guarantee right now, which is volatility. And there's nothing wrong with that either. So just enjoy it for what it's worth. This is what crypto can be like. You know, people have been spoilt recently to imagine big moves all the time. That, you know, for the vast majority of crypto, we do this. You know, this is what we do. It does this. It does exactly this. This is a very long period of Bitcoin's life where it basically went sideways in a very volatile range. You know, that is Bitcoin for you, and that's crypto for you. It's not up all the time forever. I'm more than optimistic about how this is going to resolve throughout the rest of the year, but in the very short term time frames, boring, sideways, potentially accumulation between this low and this high, which is a big range, you know. It's a big range, but when we spoke about this yesterday, accumulation ranges within a 70% range are not uncommon for crypto, certainly not. It's pretty standard stuff. I'll leave it with you there, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice day, and take it easy.